Years ago, perched at the top of any resume was job objective. And the job objective was just usually one or two words. It was kind of the goal that you were going after. So it may have been bank teller or project manager or software engineer. Today, you don't see job objectives anymore. Well, rarely. What you do see are professional summaries or professional profiles. And this is your way of introducing yourself to the recruiter and the hiring manager and letting them know what are the skills that you have. What is it that you're going to bring to the table? Now, before we go any further, I want to let you know something. And if you've watched my previous videos, you've heard me talk about this before. Your resume is not going to be read. It's going to be scanned. A recruiter only spends about 6 seconds on a resume nowadays because they simply don't have time to be reading all of them that come through. So you need to be strategic when you are creating your resume, and this goes for the professional summary just as well. When I work with my clients, I talk with them about creating a professional summary using 4 elements. And these are the elements that I want you to consider. They're questions that I want you to ask yourself. The first element, who are you in the present sense with a value-added proposition? The second element, industries and/or environments that you've worked in. The third element, what are your skills, what are your strengths that you're going to bring to the table? And the final element, what is it that makes you unique? And if you need to pause this video and rewind it a little bit, please do so, because these are 4 questions that as you kind of ask yourself and you map out your answers, this is going to craft your professional summary. So let me give you an example. Here's an example of the first element. Full stack developer with a passion for bringing together technology and healthcare to improve quality of life. Now, I want you to understand something. This first element, it's a real life example, came from a student who had just gone through a very intense 14-week full stack development coding program. The students in general were putting in 90-hour weeks. They were coming out very well experienced, but this gentleman, his previous work experience had nothing to do with technology. I can't exactly remember what it was, but it was not technology. But this was the goal that he had in mind. So it was his way of introducing himself as a full stack developer. He hadn't previously done it, but that's what he was going after. And as far as the passion for technology and the healthcare industry, that was something that he had decided upon based upon, some upbringing that he had as a caregiver. This was his goal. He wanted to use technology to make improvements in the healthcare industry. Now, here's another example of the first element. Marketing executive with proven track record driving revenue growth in startups and large public companies. Notice we answer who we are, and we also, again, added a value-added proposition. So these are a couple of examples of the first element. You can come up with one of your own, I'm sure, but essentially answer the question, who you are, the title, put in there, and if you can, add a value-added proposition. Here's an example of the second element. And remember, the second element is industries and or environments that you've worked in. And the reason why I say or, because sometimes younger individuals, people that are fresh out of college, they don't have industry experience, but they will definitely have some environmental experience. So here's an example of the second element. 15 plus years management experience in healthcare leading culturally diverse teams. So you notice healthcare is an industry. It's not a company name. You want to use an industry. And culturally diverse teams is an environment. Now here's a second example of the second element. Experience in private, public, and government industries managing 11 remote technicians throughout the US and Canada. Again, do you notice that we didn't talk about company names, but we talked about industries? And Managing a remote team, that's an environment. Remote is an environment. So moving on to the third element. The third element is, what are your strengths? What are your skills that you're going to bring to that company? So here's an example of the third element. Grounded in engineering, specialize in developing competitive strategies through global alliances, joint ventures, mergers, and acquisitions. Again, this is what your kind of experience that you're going to bring to the industry. And finally, another example, known for keen balance of hands-on and strategic management, coupled with the ability to build and lead high-performance teams, repeated success in all aspects of outbound and inbound marketing. We just went over the first element, who you are in the present sense with a value-added proposition. The second element, industries and environments that you've worked in. The third element, the strengths and skills that you're going to bring to the table. You know what? That's enough to stop right there. You can stop, and you're already, light years ahead of the competition. But if you want to take it one step further, what is it that makes you unique? What is it that separates you from the crowd? So let me give you one more example here. Major strengths include ensuring executives are always in the right place at the right time with the right preparation. I love that one. That was one from an actual resume from administrative assistant to the C-level suite. So let's go ahead and take what we've learned about the four elements and put them together and craft a couple of professional summaries. So in this first example, what I'm going to use is a QA analyst. Highly respected quality assurance professional with a track record for ensuring quality of products meets the standards set by a company and expectation by end users. Over 17 years experience in the biotechnology industry, leveraging strengths in manufacturing processes, quality procedures, and quality systems. Ability to quickly foster partnerships across multiple domains to ensure compliance with all relevant FDA and EU regulations and guidelines. So there we've incorporated all four elements into this professional summary. Here's another example. This individual would be an operations manager in the finance industry. Experienced sales professional with experienced sales operations and support professional with over 10 years progressive experience in the financial industry. Expert in enabling teams to be fully engaged in department goals and objectives. Background in human resource functions, executive administrative functions, and managing end-to-end processes. Will measurably improve the success, value, and performance of department by providing world-class communication, organization, and administration and problem solving. Series 7 certification. Series 7 certification, that's the uniqueness right there. But you see all of the elements in both of these examples. So if you're struggling with creating the resume and you're just looking at a blank screen with a heading, professional summary, and you don't know what to write, use these four elements. It's really going to be a great foundation for creating a rock star resume, one that's going to get you noticed and called in for an interview. Finally, as I mentioned in the beginning of this video, I do have a free download, the top 5 interview questions that any hiring manager wants to know about you, and also the best practice answers to those questions. Check it out in the notes section below. There's a link directly to the download. And finally, I also have an online program that I recently launched called Finding Work That Fuels Your Passion. This not only covers how to write the resume in great detail, step-by-step process, kind of like what I led you through just with this video here, but a lot longer. Also, a way to develop your LinkedIn profile. It goes into interviewing, and finally, even how to create a job search strategy, identify companies that you believe you would be a great fit for, and how to develop relationships within those companies. So if you're in career transition, you might want to check out that link as well. Again, thank you for stopping by, and I will look forward to seeing you in the next video.